I hate to say I told you so, but I did tell you guys that CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre would be at Bash in Berlin in a strap match. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another post-show reaction. This one being from Monday Night Raw. My name is Jose Ramos Jr. And like I said, off the top of the show here, we're going to talk about CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, one of the hottest feuds that the WWE has been highlighting throughout the duration of 2024. We saw the evolution of this rivalry stemming from WrestleMania 40 to Clash at the Castle to Money in the Bank to their encounter at SummerSlam where Drew McIntyre did get the victory over one CM Punk with Seth Rollins as the special guest referee. Obviously, we knew there was going to be a rematch. We knew it wasn't going to be a one-off, certainly because of the way it ended and how Drew McIntyre is still in possession of that bracelet. But now we know the rematch will be happening at Bash in Berlin in a strap match. There were hints, there were little subtle hints leading up to it. We knew about CM Punk's obsession, well, rather Drew McIntyre's obsession with CM Punk, as Punk would like to claim. But what I like is the notion of the narrative and the story that we have woven between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. We know in the last couple of weeks, CM Punk has said that Drew McIntyre has been ducking Punk. He's been avoiding him. He's been getting those shots in when he can. But Punk wants Drew McIntyre in the middle of the ring where he can do the damage. And what better way than to be strapped one end to another with your opponent? He talks about how CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, that's been the main feud of the year in my opinion. CM Punk brought up a point that Drew is obsessed with CM Punk, and so what better way to make sure that he's tied in the ring with CM Punk? I'm looking forward to the matchup. I think it's certainly a match that will warrant a third. I think it's all but confirmed CM Punk will win this match, and that's me giving a little spoiler before I give out a predictions video regarding Bash in Berlin. This will lead into Hell in a Cell, potentially, at Bad Blood. I think that's probably the match you go with when you want to end a feud, especially this one, which I believe warrants it. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're stuck with the strap match at Bash in Berlin. Like I mentioned, Punk versus McIntyre. The one issue and complaint that I have with it, and I don't have too many complaints or issues regarding the product. I try to keep everything a little bit more positive. On a positive note, there's so much negativity out there, especially in terms of toxic wrestling fans. You know exactly who I'm talking about. And I look at it. I look at the way the rules are structured for this strap match. Obviously, for fans who have watched the WWE for decades upon decades, you would know there are basically two iterations of the strap match. The common matchup, the common variation of the strap match, is just a standard one-on-one matchup with two opponents strapped at the wrist so that one is unable to run away from the other. It's all about keeping the two in close proximity. Then there's the variation, which we've seen in a Texas Bull Rope match, 2004 Great American Bash. Perhaps you remember the Samoan Strap match, Extreme Rules 2009, where Punk actually fought Umaga, the late Great Umaga, rest in peace. And it appears, if CM Punk's promo is anything to believe, that we're going with the alternative where it is in the Texas Bull Rope match, in the Samoan Strap match, where one individual, in order to win the match, needs to touch all four turnbuckles before their opponent. It adds a level of drama. It adds a level of tension that isn't just regulated to just a pinfall or a submission finish. It adds that extra layer of who is going to be able to touch each corner. Me, personally, in my opinion, and you might disagree with this, I'm not a fan of that stipulation. I would much rather it be just a normal one-on-one contest, probably like a no DQ kind of rule, because you do have a strap in hand that you can utilize as an offensive weapon. I would much prefer it be that it's just a matchup that happens to have both competitors attached to one another, versus adding that extra layer of tapping each four corners. I used to like it as a kid. I will not lie. I used to like it as a kid, But now I've grown to just go for the simplistic things. This doesn't need the extra. Um, I'm trying to think what the phrase was that Bruce Pritchard, the Gaga. He referred to it as Gaga. It doesn't need that extra. It's simple. This is a blood feud. These are two guys who hate each other. One has already received a victory over the other at SummerSlam, and the other just wants that retribution. He wants to be able to regain possession of that bracelet that he has lost over the course of these last couple months. But regardless, any segment involving Drew McIntyre and CM Punk is must see. You saw the way the crowd is just gravitating towards every word that CM Punk says, and then vice versa with Drew McIntyre. He is one of the more compelling characters, not even heel or babyface. It's just one of the more compelling characters in wrestling today. I think it'll be one hell of a matchup. There was some discussion whether or not it was too soon after their SummerSlam matchup, but I think it's perfect timing. You have it then, and then there's a good chance we have a third matchup at Bad Blood. I'm hoping so. And that'll probably be your blow-off matchup, and we'll set aside this feud for some time. I think we'll probably revisit maybe like a Royal Rumble, in mid-match Royal Rumble. But then you can set aside and allow the two to now grow as individuals around other storylines. And speaking of storylines, obviously, Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk wasn't the only main storyline that had a little bit of advancement in its storytelling. I would be remiss not to mention one of the best groups on Monday Night Raw, that being, of course, the Judgment Day, this new iteration of the Judgment Day. We saw the matchup between Dominic Mysterio and Damian Priest. I think we all knew it wasn't going to go cleanly. That is a matchup that could be saved for a pay-per-view, as well as the high likelihood of interference taking place. When you have Damian Priest outnumbered by the likes of Finn Balor, JD McDonough, Carlito, and Dominic Mysterio, of course, you knew there was going to be interference. The match doesn't even take place because of that, because Rhea Ripley is able to help out. Liv Morgan gets involved. And then we have this beatdown, outnumbered, like I said. Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley, left practically lifeless on the mat. And we had this great visual of the Judgment Day standing over the two original members of the Judgment Day without any help. Now we know, of course, the Judgment Day currently consists of 5 members. Like I said, Liv Morgan, JD, Dominic, Finn, and Carlito. And we're left with the Terror Twins, Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest. And that got me thinking, are we going to see some sort of help, some sort of aid for one Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley? And one thing that WWE and Triple H have done in recent times is whenever there's a turn, babyface to heel or heel to babyface, the actions of said character carry over. We can't just ignore the past. We can't ignore what has already happened. Naturally, it takes time for these characters to build trust. Look at how Jey Uso, who we'll get to, when Jey Uso turned babyface and jumped over to Monday Night Raw, Drew McIntyre didn't trust him because of everything that he had done in the bloodline. Look at like a Chad Gable, turned heel, tried to regain the trust of the Alpha Academy. They weren't going to have it. They weren't going to forgive him that easy. I suspect a similar thing will happen with Roman Reigns, as he's already become a babyface and is outnumbered on SmackDown against the Bloodline. So with that being said, I think Damian and Rhea will seek out some sort of help. Maybe not early on because, again, of the level of turmoil and just a lot of the past that the Judgment Day had conducted as a group. But I think 2 names to keep in mind, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn. That's a team right there. Sami Zayn and Jey Uso had their run-ins with the Judgment Day. Certainly, Jey Uso has shown a little bit of interest in Rhea Ripley. He has that level of respect with the Damian Priest. You saw that in their matchup at Backlash. You saw that in the weeks that would follow, and even some videos in the live events. I could see that partnership forming in some form. Will it happen? Don't know. But they haven't been hinting Jey Uso and Rhea Ripley for no reason. We'll have to wait and see. And I think that opens up the door for how we can lead into the bloodline. Because Sami and Jey will already have been a partnership. They will already have been friends. And then who's to say Jimmy or Roman doesn't, hey, give a phone call. I don't know. But of course, on Monday Night Raw, it was mentioned that Sami Zayn would be missing for quite some time. Jey Uso talked about in previous episodes of Monday Night Raw that he would like to go for the tag titles with Sami Zayn, but being that he'll be absent for quite some time after losing to Braun Breaker in that great 2 out of 3 falls match last week, it looks like Jey Uso will be targeting the Intercontinental Championship as they announce a new tournament to crown a number one contenders. I love tournaments. I can't wait to see it. I think Jey Uso is obviously an early favorite for this tournament. Regardless, I can't wait. It should be great. It should be wonderful. And Braun Breaker, I mean, he's on a tear. We saw his little music video package. We saw the interview. I wouldn't be surprised if they turn Braun Breaker babyface pretty soon, just because of the reaction, the response that a lot of the crowd is giving him in terms of the barking. And he already has this great line of like, how many dogs do we have in said city? Braun Breaker's a made man. So happy for him. He's gonna have a great career, a great fruitful career in the WWE if it keeps going the way it is going. And you talk about fruitful careers. I mean, Randy Orton has one of the more historic careers in the WWE. He's a lifer at this point. Reports are saying he recently signed a new deal with the WWE, a new multi-year deal, and he's currently enthralled in a World Heavyweight Championship feud with the champion Gunther, the Ring General. We saw Randy Orton defeat Kaiser in the main event, and just seeing Randy Orton at this point in his career, it's great, fantastic. He's one of the all-time greats, not only in the ring but out the ring, and to see the level of maturity and the evolution of the Viper and how he has become the legend killer from yesteryear to now the legend that is Randy Orton. I can't wait to see the matchup at Bash in Berlin. I suspect that it will be the main event, but it's just that potential, just the opportunity to see someone of Randy Orton's caliber earn another World Heavyweight Championship, adding number 15 to his tally, and becoming number 2 all time behind John Cena and Ric Flair, who both have 16 titles apiece. And then Triple H would follow with 14 at the number 4 spot, I suppose. But Monday Night Raw, again, a good episode, solid episode. I won't say it blew everything out the water, but it wasn't bad by any means. It was an entertaining episode. I liked what I saw with the New Day involving Odyssey Jones. We're teasing that breakup, and I, for one, am used to seeing the New Day for these last 10 years. Still not ready to see them break up, but they're certainly hinting at it, and seeing Xavier Woods and the side eye that he's giving Kofi and Odyssey Jones, something to keep an eye on. As well as the Wyatt Sicks, we're going to see Uncle Howdy make his one-on-one debut, facing against Chad Gable next week on an episode of Monday Night Raw. But seeing the attack on Chad Gable and a hell of a sell by Chad Gable when it came to that sister Abigail. And by the way, they've mentioned Nikki Cross by name for the first time. So, making developments there. Monday Night Raw, again, another fun episode. Looking forward to next week. I want to know what you guys thought about this episode of Monday Night Raw. Comment down below. What is your level of anticipation regarding the strap match? What are you looking forward to next week on Monday Night Raw? Do you think Sami Zayn and Jey Uso will lend their services, lend a helping hand to the Terror Twins in their battle against the Judgment Day? Sound off in the comments below. If you enjoyed this short little post reaction show to Monday Night Raw, please give the video a thumbs up. Comment down below, like I said. Make sure to subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with all the pro wrestling content that is produced on this channel. And with that being said, of course, my name is Jose Ramos Jr., and I will see you all next time.